What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Not Gon Lie. It's your boy Fritz.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Dapper Dan. And you're now tuned into the latest and soon to be the greatest podcast. All right, y'all. So welcome back. First, let's address the elephant in the room. You see, we in a different location. You see that we got microphones now. We trying to step it up a little bit for y'all.
Official tissue, you heard?
We told y'all last episode we was trying to grow because we appreciate y'all and we trying to just put out better content every time, each way we can. So just look out for more new content coming soon. But with that being said, Fritz, let's get into sports. Where we gonna start at?
Let's hop into the NBA. Let's talk about a superstar who we haven't seen in a while.
You calling him a superstar?
He's a superstar. Let's not
do that.
A superstar?
Let's not do that. Because when I say superstar, I'm thinking like Bron. I'm thinking KD.
I hate you. All right. He's a
really good all-star.
He's a top tier all-star.
He's a top tier player.
Okay.
Like, he's up there in the top 15, top 12.
But I've been a fan of his since his mixtapes in high school on YouTube. His days in Kentucky.
That might have been where my fandom started.
Mr. Dougie, John Wall. Unfortunately, he's been hit by the injury bug a lot as of late.
How long has it really been? Has it really been like, 2 full seasons?
I honestly don't remember the last time I saw him play.
I think it's been like 2.5 seasons at this point.
It might have been. But it's like the injury that he's dealing with now was not even a basketball injury. That's the fucked up part about it.
Yeah, like he just kind of fell down
I think he fell down some stairs.
Which is crazy because that could happen to anybody. But you would think as an NBA player, you kind of bounce back from certain things, but then you come down to it and they're actually still human, and a little thing falling down the steps would mess them up. But my main thing with John Wall is because I just thought about it. I was like, where does John Wall fit when he comes back? What do we see from John Wall? What do we need to see from John Wall when he gets back? There's so much questions I have in my mind about John Wall and where he stands in the NBA rankings anymore. We've seen Bradley Beal rise to his, stardom at this point because now Bradley Beal's, he's not going to take your team to the playoffs necessarily, but he can win some games based off his talent alone. So
shouts out to Bradley Beal. He's the superstar on my fantasy squad.
He still lost to me last week.
Oh, that's crazy.
But regardless of that, I just want to hear your thoughts. So what do you think? Let's start off with where do you think John Wall needs to come back? When he comes back in next season, does he need to be at 100% full strength already? Does he what does he need to show you?
I would hope he is, because like we said, he hasn't been on the court for so fucking long. So you would hope, but it's the Achilles injury is fucking damn near undefeated when it comes to the NBA players. You could only really name probably Rudy Gay and Dominique Wilkins. That's off the top that they still had a high level of play after the Achilles injury. But I would hope to see him drop his regular numbers, 21, 4, and 7. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I personally have higher expectations for him, especially in the assist category. Because remember, before he left, he was up there and leading the league.
Yeah, I mean, 7 assists is gone.
I don't know. I think John Wall got to come
10?
back with
11,
8, 9 at least.
Okay, 8, 9.
Especially being that me personally, I feel like the shot. Even he was never the greatest shooter from when he left. So I feel like the shot is going to be real rusty when he gets back. Because it's one thing to hit it in practice, hit it against people you're playing against all summer. But once you get to the games and that game motion comes, that game feel, I feel like it's going to become, a little more rusty. I can picture him shooting 38%.
Absolutely.
For the first at least 3-4
the whole
months.
season. He's going to shoot at least. He's going to shoot 38% for the whole season.
I don't know if he's going to Westbrook it.
He's going to Westbrook it, bro.
I don't think he's going to Westbrook it.
His jump shot was never strong to begin with, like you said. So it's
So that's true. But so in terms of his game, because obviously he's gotten older as we haven't seen him in a while, but he's still aging. Obviously, he's a human being.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's 28, 29. But yeah, he's definitely going up there with age.
Going up there. So with that Achilles injury happening, you feel because his game was kind of perpetuated on his athleticism, similar to a Westbrook. So do you think he comes back from that Achilles injury and we see the same athleticism, the same explosion?
I definitely don't think the explosion is going to be all the way there. It's still, similar to, I was going to say similar to Derrick Rose, but Derrick Rose definitely preserves himself more. But I feel like he might take the Derrick Rose route where he's not just wailing, as much play. He's probably going to be a safer player. I would hope he would be a safer player because, for his sake and for the Wizards' sake. But a player that comes to mind that I think he would have to reinvent himself, kind of. Like, they definitely work on his jump shot to whereas, people have to respect it, to whereas, the Washington Wizards are comfortable running plays with him on the perimeter. And, so he doesn't have to continuously attack the paint. But like a person like Grant Hill, who was a perennial, like basically a potential superstar, injuries definitely robbed him of that, but he still was able to
have a very productive career. His career actually went a little longer than people predicted. Because, we got to really kind of see him play a little bit.
He was like 38 or some shit like that.
On the Suns, beating Shaq in a foot race. I remember when I seen that on ESPN.
But, if he's able to just reinvent himself, not all the way because you still need that dog in John Wall, but just so he can be a safer basketball player so he can have more longevity. And that contract is asinine, so they really need him to come back and ball out, bro.
Do you see him taking the load management route?
They might have to do that for sure, especially considering the fact that he hasn't been on the court for so long. So, they definitely have to be careful because you don't want to, bring John Wall back and then he's injured again by game 30 or some shit.
All right, so my last question that we should talk about with Brian John Wall, I feel like, is do you see him coming back? Because, I hear that off the court, him and Bradley Beal have a great relationship, apparently.
No, I didn't even know that.
I've heard that several times. I don't know if they're like Bron and Wade, but I think they're definitely cool. Maybe some more so. I don't even have a comparison at the moment, but they're cool off the court.
Right.
So I feel like, do you see them on the court when he comes back, especially knowing his condition? Do you see John Wall deferring a little bit to Bradley Beal, being that Bradley Beal has held down the team while he was gone in a certain scenario, and then coming up as more so at least for the season he comes back as more of the second guy?
I would certainly hope so, because like Bradley Beal, he showed that he can do it. He showed that he can be a number one option on the team, and I think John Wall, I hope his ego, he can put his ego aside to whereas he can utilize Bradley Beal to all of his abilities and not take shots away from him, and not feel a way about not being a number one option, because that's just gonna expedite, the process of this nigga Bradley Beal leaving Washington. Even though he said on numerous occasions he wants to stay a Wizard, I feel like that
we've heard that.
Yeah, we've heard that before.
That's like the boy who cried wolf, bro. We heard that.
we have heard that before, but it's like he did re-sign with them. So, but it's like if John Wall comes back and shit is not sweet, then they're definitely gonna trade one of them. That's for sure.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like that team might have to blow up regardless, but that's a different conversation for a different day. Just because I don't see the winning that they're predicting happening, especially after John Wall coming back from this, hiatus of injury. But like I said, I hope so. I hope we get to see a similar version, or if not, a improved version that can still give you the same numbers and, plus minuses on the court that he was prior to, his Achilles injury.
What's your prediction for his comeback season stats?
I see. I think 22. I think he scored 22 a game. I think he has to. It probably won't be very efficient. So I see for the season probably 41, 42% from the field. Probably about 5 rebounds, and then I would like to see about 8 assists, but I'll settle at 7 probably.
That's very solid. And I feel like if he puts those numbers up and Bradley Beal continues, because I think Bradley Beal is averaging 28 points. So if Bradley Beal continues to have that type of consistency and you add John Wall into that, shit gonna be lit for the Wizards.
Hopefully, because like I said, I still don't think that team is that good.
Yeah, overall.
Overall, I don't think they're that good.
I think they're
East.
They're the third highest scoring team in the NBA, but their defense.
Their defense is horrendous.
Terrible.
Their defense is horrendous.
They score buckets, bro.
Because wasn't it? We were just talking about when they played the Rockets.
Yeah, and scored 1,003 points.
Yeah, that's asinine. That's your favorite word. That's asinine, bro. That's nuts. You know what I'm saying? But that's my take on John Wall. I don't know if you have anything else, but I just want to see him, get back to that form, because I hate seeing great players lose their edge that made them great. That's we watched D Rose,
and
yeah, we watched D Rose fall, and thank God he's gracefully fallen but gotten back up to a certain degree. He's not the MVP for him.
This man should be starting.
like I said, I think he's not starting just because of the fact that just 6-man role is working.
25 minutes. That's ridiculous.
But the 6-man role is different now in the NBA. You know that.
Get that man like 6 more minutes, man.
And they do when games where like he's really rolling. He plays like 30-something minutes. Because at the same time, he's still load managing, bro. So I'm pretty sure he's on some type of a minutes count that maybe we don't know.
That's dirt.
I mean, but I'd rather see him healthy than, you know what I'm saying? Like, if me seeing him healthy means him coming off the bench, then I'll take it.
Well, I guess.
And I know you will, too, because the last thing you want to see is him overwork himself.
Yeah. But, I mean, 31 minutes, I don't think that would be... whatever.
And he plays 31 minutes in the games that, like, they need him to.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's that. All right, so another thing I thought of this week, Fritz, that I hit you up on, and I think this is a real interesting topic to talk about, especially being that we are African-American men, is... definitely HBCUs, and what do you think would change if HBCU like had, you know, was attracting like more top tier athletes? Like if more top tier athletes went to, you know, a Howard University, you know, Hampton University, things of that nature. One thing that did happen recently was there's a high school basketball player, he's a senior now, named Joshua Christopher. He plays for Mayfair High School in California. Plays alongside Dior Johnson. They're both very popular players.
Right.
And I think Joshua Christopher is ranked number 12 in the ESPN rankings, 100 out of 100. And he took one year, only 5 official visits. And one of his official visits, he took
to Howard.
All
right.
Now, obviously, I don't think, as of right now, I don't think it's still on his list of final schools. He's said it himself, he's not going to choose till like the spring. But it's just I feel like it's a good step forward, because just to see somebody that's ranked number 12 go to even take a visit is very, you know, it's very prominent for, you know,
the school,
the
itself,
HBCU like circuit. Because honestly, I looked up a stat that the HBCU, the highest rank they've ever had is 100.
Word.
Like that's the highest ranked player they've ever had go to a HBCU out of the 300 that they rank.
It's interesting that you bring this whole topic up, because it never even really crossed my mind that all the top players who are 98% of the time black don't even consider going to black.
Not even a thought, bro.
Like,
not even like
it's the big, you know, essentially white schools, you know. And it's, when you really think about it sucks. When you really think about it.
Nah, because like I just feel like I'm not to be like the pro black.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
we're giving them all that bread.
Niggas don't have nobody, like they never know tournaments.
Exactly. And like just imagine what the type of bread, like imagine Howard got the money that like a Duke basketball program got, or like not even just bringing it to basketball, it's football too. Like imagine, you know, like another HBCU like Tennessee State or something like that. Like they got the football program, got the money Ohio State got, because they had that kind of prospects there. You know what I'm saying? That could change the climate of just the school in general and make it better for not just the athletes, but just the student population itself, because it's just crazy how much you really think about like where the money comes from for schools. It's sports.
Do you think that if the athletes were going to HBCUs, it would be less one and done?
That's tough, because at the end of the day, like money is money, and you want to go get the money. But I'd say maybe a small percentage less. So I'd say maybe I'd cap it at like 10 to 12%, because the culture is kind of unbeatable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's much different than.
I mean, we both
shit.
didn't attend. Clearly by my hoodie, I didn't attend a HBCU. Neither did you, but. Yeah. I visited and
I attended a bootleg HBCU.
Yeah, like it was a bootleg version of a HBCU within a PWI. But you know what I'm saying? Like the culture, from what I hear and from what I seen the one time I visited, is unbeatable. Like just imagine being around the people that you'd kind of be around on the block.
Yeah.
But at like a place of higher learning. Exactly. Like it's crazy to me. So I definitely picture people staying like another set of the year, 2 year, 3 year. You know what I'm saying? But I still think the majority is still gonna go the one and done route. Which is still fine, because the money comes regardless. So that's just my take on that. I just feel like in terms of money and just bringing, you know, revenue to schools, just in black communities for black people, I feel like top tier athletes should definitely consider it. Just
at least consider it.
You know what I'm saying?
That would be a cool trend though. Like especially like with the whole trend of athletes going overseas. Like maybe we will see that one day. You know, where athletes decide, hey, let me go to this D1 black school. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say we're far from it, because as you see, somebody that was ranked number 12 definitely went and checked it out at least.
Yeah.
But
we need them commits.
Yeah, we definitely need to commit, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be some years. I'm not going to lie. I think it'll be some years before we see somebody really commit that's a top prospect. Like, not like, I'm not talking like 100 downward. Like anything above 100, I'll respect more. But like anything 100 and lower, it's kind of like, all right, this might be my best, shot.
And it's like, it just goes back to the whole history of things, because when, NCAA started and college sports in general started, they were, from the predominantly, large schools that were really popular,
right,
like the white schools. So, I mean, and just those programs continuously, they were able to recruit the money and whatnot. So, I mean, it's from the past, and that's why it's like that today. But
yeah, my hope is that we somehow find a way to educate the young boys that are, predominantly, like you said, black, on their, the history and the knowledge that, and the change they can potentially bring by, going that route, because you can potentially go down as a legend if you start the trend of athletes going to HBCUs, to going to Howard University and stuff like that.
That's a fact. Mr. OBJ, man, this man, he goes to Cleveland, gets traded to Cleveland, and one would hope that Cleveland team was going to the playoffs. They had aspirations.
Hope they'd win games they should win.
But they ended up. I saw an interesting stat stating that the Browns are the only NFL team that did not have a winning record this decade. That is fucking terrible.
I don't even know what to really say to that. Like, Fredo said it best before. Like, nothing good ever happens in Cleveland. Like, nothing like
that championship.
Like, literally, like, that's why I know why Braun cried. Because, like, that's a barrier broken.
Niggas like, oh shit, lit it.
Like, is that a barrier broken? Because nothing really happens in Cleveland. Like, nothing good. Like, your name of the team is the Browns.
That has an orange helmet.
And it's an orange helmet.
I've never understood that.
But regardless of that, we got to talk about OBJ. So, like, where do we think OBJ is next season? Like, where do you think he is?
I mean, there's been a lot of chatter going on in terms of just like the rumor mill and shit like that. Me personally, I hope that they actually give it another try. Because I feel like this Cleveland team is way too good to be this mediocre. And the only thing that worries me is that I saw a report talking about they were trying to sign Freddie Kitchens to a long-term contract. I don't think that makes any sense.
Only reason I say I can't be mad at that is because it was his first year in that position. So, and I'm all for giving somebody a second chance.
Yeah, a second chance, but a long-term contract?
I guess, yeah, that's where it kind of draws the line for me, too. It's just like a long-term contract. I feel like, maybe 2-3 years, let them give next year and the year after to kind of get it together. But my main point is, like, with Odell, like, there's been rumors that he's been telling other quarterbacks and other teams,
I'm gonna pull up on you.
like, come get me. Like, I don't want to hear you tell another man, come get me.
Yeah, that's kind of gay.
Don't tell another man, come get me.
It's a little weird.
But,
a little spicy.
You know what I'm saying? And then recently they said Jarvis Landry was even saying that. So I'm just confused. But honestly, I don't want to see Odell travel around the league like that. I don't want that to be his NFL, career. But I do want to see him in a better situation. So I would hope that they figure it out this offseason. Maybe him and Baker because obviously they're not moving on from Baker yet. I don't think so.
They're not.
I don't think they're moving on from Baker yet.
They're probably going to give him a season and a half.
Exactly. Right. So him and Baker need to get in the lab and just really work on some timing, because clearly he has the timing with Jarvis, but it's just somewhere where OBJ, I don't know if it's the play calling or what. It's just...
It's like OBJ too far.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard for him to get the ball to Odell Beckham Jr. for some reason, and he's probably the best playmaker on the team.
Man, this shit don't make no sense, bro. Honestly, I feel like it starts with coaching. Like, the plays, it's not it.
Now, yeah, the play calling has been ass.
That's not it.
But also, blame goes on Baker Mayfield as well, because he's folded under pressure. Like, the blitz comes, he's looking like a chicken without its head. Yeah. Like, he just doesn't look like the poised guy we saw for like the half of the season last year.
Yeah.
And maybe it's another discussion, it's another topic for another day, but maybe he pulled the wool over our eyes. Maybe he's not as good as we thought. You know what I'm saying?
But it's like I don't want to think that, because last year he didn't have as much talent as he has this year. So, and if you're able to do what you did last year, you should I just feel like it comes down to the play calling. But it's definitely Baker Mayfield's fault as well, because he has to realize the type of talent that he has on that team.
Definitely. I mean, he just has to get the ball out. I mean, I know there's other things obviously amiss and a muck in that organization, but it just come down to the point where, like, somebody's got to be to blame. Like, they got to point fingers somewhere, and the best place to point two fingers for me is Freddie Kitchens and Baker Mayfield. But like I said, Odell Beckham Jr., I see him staying in Cleveland at least for next season. And I feel like if next season goes similar or worse to this season, then I think we see like the OBJ we saw on the Giants, where, like, you know,
like kicking nuts and shit.
Not that, but like probably like emotional like tweets and posts and things of that nature.
Yeah, I feel like all of the shits that he been posting, like it's you know, subtle little jabs,
subliminals. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, man. I hope it works out on the Browns, but if not, I hope he goes to like the fucking 49ers or some shit like that.
Yeah, because honestly, I think I want to see him in the playoffs. Like, I want to see him in the playoffs because he has to bounce back from that game where, remember that time they all
Green
went
Bay bullshit
when they all went
to Miami.
Yeah, I blame Trey Songz. It was definitely Trey Songz' fault. Nothing good happens when you train with Trey Songz, bro.
And then the niggas wanted to be outside with their shirts off, bro. The snow thinking shit sweet, man.
I know his nose is running.
OD running. You're not proving nothing to nobody, and then you're gonna get cooked in the fucking game.
Like, he was out there dropping passes and all that. I'm like, that's not even OBJ like, but yeah, I mean, we can move on from OBJ. I just hope that his situation pans out, because right now he's looking very average at receiver. Not even average, might even be below average.
Very bad. Like, but it's not him looking bad. It's just his stats.
Yeah, his stats look bad.
But where would you preferably want to see him if, you know, things went south?
Contender. So, I mean, you mentioned the 49ers. That's a good fit, definitely. And they have Emmanuel Sanders over there as well, too. So that's definitely a good tandem to have. I think the Seahawks work as well, especially with the fact that they just lost Josh Gordon, which we'll get into in a couple seconds. But definitely Seahawks work. I even see the Ravens work. Like, I think I want to put them with a black quarterback.
Yeah,
keep it right.
That's a fact.
I want to keep him with a black quarterback. Like,
well, I mean, yeah, the 49ers not, you know, Jimmy not black, but.
Oh, yeah, but, I mean, porn star Jimmy. You never heard him call porn star Jimmy?
I ain't never heard
he out here fucking bitches, bro. Let him. And that's he get that from our culture.
Fredo, you heard about that, bro? That Fredo shaking his head.
Bro, he was in the news with Kiara Mia, bro. But that's a porn star, but that's another topic for another podcast. You feel me? But that's another podcast. But yeah, so definitely with a black quarterback, or if not black, definitely Jimmy Garoppolo, aka porn star Jimmy. You feel me? But moving forward, like we mentioned earlier,
fucking Josh Gordon,
Gordon, man.
What is this, like the sixth time?
It's the fifth one.
Fifth? Oh
yeah.
My gosh.
And it's all been for PEDs. I don't think there's been anyone that's for like marijuana use.
Nah, not
like
one.
That.
I feel like might have been one. He might have squeezed one in there.
Yeah, but I feel like it's all, for the most part, it's been for PEDs, substance abuse type of thing.
Right.
And I just want to know, like, what's going on with him, because like he took a whole season off, like a couple seasons off before
to get his mental.
He came back to the Patriots. His mental still wasn't right. Left again. Missed out on the championship. You know what I'm saying? And now he come back. He testing again for the same thing. Like, my thing is, like, do you see him get another chance after this? Because like clearly he's talented, but I just don't know if anybody's willing to take on that what's the word I'm looking for? Like,
baggage.
Not even baggage, but just like that. I don't know where your head is at kind of feel.
Right.
That's a lot for like, because remember we're signing contracts, bro.
That's
like,
a fact.
We can't. You sign a contract because I need you to be here. So if you're not gonna be here, how can I rely on you? The contract is basically just trust. That's like you're just signing trust. So like, I don't know. How do you feel like?
One would hope that he would get another chance, but I would not be surprised if he didn't. You know, because I mean, 5 times is a lot of fucking times. Especially with the last time with him going to like therapy and shit like that, and taking damn near a year off, and like basically emphasizing, you know, the need to get his mental health right, and he said that he did, but you know, unfortunately, he slipped back to the bullshit. If I'm a owner or a general manager or whatever the case is, I would probably skip on adding him to my team, even though he's extremely talented. It's just I would be pissed off if I'm, hoping that you'll be utilized and help the team, and then you end up not even being there after like 4 games. So I don't see anyone giving him another chance, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did either.
Yeah, I mean, because right now he's suspended indefinitely, so we'll see when he gets if he gets reinstated back into the league. But I don't know. He's just been in some real great spots, and he's botched.
Yeah, especially the past.
He's been in like championship contending spots, and he's botched. So I just don't know where we go from here. Like, because I can't see you being happier in a spot where you're not winning games. Like, I don't think that makes your mental health any happier than you were before. Like, nothing cures like attitudes and things like that, but winning. You know what I'm saying? So that's a tough thing. I hope he gets back into the league, because obviously I don't want to see anybody, fail at what they want to do in life. But he got to get right. Definitely got to get right.
Well, we'll see, man. You think that somebody's gonna give him another chance?
I feel like if AB can get another chance, he can definitely get another chance. So okay. I think that's the way. That's how I answer that question.
Who do you think gets on first?
AB.
That's a safe prediction.
Yeah, but I think AB gets cut again, but that's further down the line.